Hi, I'm Coach Rob. At the time of this recording, I've been a human performance specialist for 39 years. I've talked about this in previous videos, but recently I've gotten a deluge of emails that have come in saying, and this is particular to impact injuries, should I use heat or should I use ice? And the answer will always be ice for the first 48 hours, never heat. And that heat can be dry heat and or moist heat. You do not want to introduce that for the first 48 hours. Let me elaborate why. If we continue on the theme of an impact injury, your body has hit something, the body is going to react to it. What ends up happening is when you get an impact area, that entire area is going to fill up with fluid. And you'll notice this, particularly, let's just say you hurt something around your bicep or your tricep. You'll notice that the joints that are adjacent to it will fill up with fluid very, very quickly. That's because the trauma to the tissue is going to engorge the area until it fills up the surrounding joints. It's just the way your body's been created. In a way, it's a self-defense mechanism to essentially keep you from hurting yourself more. Now, I want to spend just a few minutes here on this video. Why would we not want to introduce the heat? Because when you introduce the heat, it vasodilates and it adds more to the inflammation and swelling, and it's just going to drive your pain level even higher. Let's go back to why we would want to use the ice. The ice is going to vasoconstrict. It's going to make everything try to start to reduce the swelling as quickly as possible. Now, there's we could do probably an hour video on the body does need to go through its natural inflammatory response as a byproduct. We're not trying to stop what your body's capable of doing. What we're trying to do is manage pain. So when we put the ice on that, it vasoconstricts, it eliminates the amount of inflammation and swelling. That's going to alleviate a lot of the internal pressure. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to literally begin to interrupt the pain cycle. You're not in a spasm because you have trauma. Like if you have a knot, what we refer to as a trigger point, you want to go in and interrupt that with either direct pressure and or ice. I always refer to it as going over to the wall and flipping the switch. You're in a pain cycle, and the only way to interrupt it is with ice or direct pressure. When you hit the ground, when you put the ice on there, it's going to interrupt that pain that's associated with the impact. Now let's zoom out to the next chapter. Why do we want to use ice for the first 48 hours? To control swelling and try to manage pain. When you go to bed at night, please take ibuprofen unless your body has an adverse reaction to it. And the reason being is we want you to sleep as good as possible to facilitate recovery. So if you roll over and the ouch factor keeps waking you up, it's just going to take you longer to recover. So with food in your stomach, take some ibuprofen if your body will tolerate it. Again, during the day, we want to let pain be your dictator. Now again, if you're miserable, use pain medicine for sure, especially if the doctor prescribed it. Now we move into the idea of you use cold let me back up. You use cold for the first 48 hours exclusively. So let's say you do 10 minutes of ice, then let it air warm up. 10 minutes, and do that as many times as you can. You can do 10, 5, 20, whatever your pain tolerance can put up with. We then move into the 48-hour window, and we do want to introduce moist heat. And the reason why we want to do that is your diet is consisting of fruits and vegetables, which are very dense in micronutrients. Those are the healing elements. If you're eating a lot of fruits, vegetables, and lean protein, as you always hear me advocate, your body is essentially, if you think about this as the surface area of the blood, all the nutrients are pushing in. And then when you add the moist heat, it vasodilates. So you get this flooding of good nutrients that's going to speed up recovery. So the first 48 hours is to control pain and inflammation. Let pain be your dictator during the day. Mask the pain at night to improve your sleep. After 48 hours, introduce moist heat. And this is where we would do 10 minutes of ice, 10 minutes of heat, 10 minutes of ice, 10 minutes of heat. What I always say is when you do the moist heat, it's like kicking the top of the anthill off. You're creating a lot of noise. You come in with the ice and it just calms everything back down. So you open it up, get a lot of nutrients, calm it down. Nutrients, calm it down. Same rule applies after the 48-hour window. Continue to take pain medicine at night to mask the pain so you sleep better, assuming your doctor approves of it and your body doesn't reject it. Now you guys have the blueprint. When you have an impact injury, or pretty much any injury for that matter, only ice for the first 48 hours, introduce moist heat. And by the way, I'll go ahead and answer this question. We use moist heat versus dry heat because the body's very smart. When it feels dry heat, it just begins to sweat. You want to have moist heat, which actually permeates the muscle tissue. So you ice, moist heat, ice, moist heat. Always do a 1-to-1. So if you're doing 5 ice, 5 heat. If you're doing 1 ice, do 1 heat. Do that until your symptoms start to go away. And the goal, of course, would be that you're able to manage pain and you reestablish what we refer to as normal anatomy. You're trying to get the inflammation and swelling out, whether you're doing that through manual massage, coming from the appendage, the furthest towards the heart. So like if I have an impact injury here, I would massage from my wrist towards my heart. If I hurt my leg, I would raise my foot so I have gravity pulling down, and then I would massage towards it. And you want to add all these in as your body and your pain tolerance allows for it. And then what you're doing is through nutrients and through rest, you're healing from the inside out, and then you're controlling pain and swelling on the outside with ice and heat. I certainly hope that this answers your question. Your questions coming in, the numbers are really, really high, and the depth of the questions are getting really, really down there. So I hope that you've been able to stick with me during this conversation today. If I have either created a question or maybe you have one that you want us to answer, please send me an email. contact@coachrob.com comes directly to me. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, turned on the notifications, please do so. It helps our algorithm with YouTube. Please share it with your friends and family. And I just want to thank you for investing in yourself with knowledge. I hope this helps. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see you again tomorrow, and I appreciate your time today. Be safe.